Hello again, my awesome artists. Today we're going to continue our watercolor Cactus Resist, so I hope you have your watercolor kit out. First, get your brush wet. Make sure those bristles are nice and wet, and we are going to add 3 drops of water to the color we want. We're starting with green. 1, 2 drops, and yep, 3 drops. And we're going to take those 3 drops and we're going to turn them into a nice teeny tiny little puddle. After our brush is splashed around in that puddle, let's start with our marshmallow shape. I'm going to gently take my watercolor brush and I'm going to apply it to the dry paper. This is how I want us to get our start. There is a technique where you pre-wet the paper, but because some of us are probably using very thin paper, I don't want to go with that technique just because of the fact that paper is thin, and if you oversaturate it, that means if you get it too wet, it might rip. So for right now, I just want you to use those 3 drops of green watercolor, get it onto your brush, and we're going to color, or rather paint, the entire cactus in. When I first started using watercolors, I thought, man, the color's not coming across as bright as I want it to. It seems a little watery, a little thin, but that's what watercolor's supposed to do. And by the time it dries, it's going to come out really clear with its greens and blues and purples and oranges that we're going to be using. But for right now, what I would like you to do is I would like you to very carefully apply your brush to all of the cactus. Now here's where the resist comes in. If you're looking close, I'm going to be painting right on top of my crayons. Crayons are made up of color pigment and paraffin wax. So basically wax and water, they don't mix, they don't work together. So as you are painting your cactus, which you should now be, you'll notice that the water just kind of glides right over on top of the wax. They don't mix, they don't intermingle, they just kind of stay away from each other, which is why it's called a resist. All right, I'm going to speed up the video ever so slightly, and you'll notice that I'm going back and forth between the watercolor, and the painting. And I'm just going to cover the entire cactus up. I'm not going to make more than 1, maybe 2 layers at the most because I don't want my paper to become too wet. So I'm just going to finish up my cacti. Don't forget the little buds at the top right corner in grid 2. And of course we want to clean off our brush by dragging it along the bottom of our water container back and forth and back and forth. And then once it's clean, we can start with a new color. So I'm going to now transition over to blue. So I'm going to add 3 drops to my blue, and I'm going to make another little tiny blue watercolor puddle. And with this blue, I'm going to be painting inside my trapezoid. And again, it's okay to paint right on top of your crayons. This is a resist. This is what we're doing. And I think it's a lot of fun to see that no matter what we do, we can't really blur or ruin our crayon artwork because of the resist technique. As I go along, I'm going to be applying the same level of color, not too much, and it looks like the little blue details, the little blue triangles that go in between my orange zigzag, it looks like they disappear. And at first it's like, whoa, I should have totally chose a different color. But in the end, I'm going to show you an image of our watercolor cactus after it's been totally dried, and you'll see those blues pop right back up. Now you have the freedom to choose any color you want for your trapezoid. You don't have to choose blue, you can choose any color. The same thing is going to go for the ground. I'm going to choose this nice orange. I'm going to add my 3 drops, and I'm going to color right on top. I'm going to use my paint and let that watercolor really soak into my paper along the bottom. And I'm going to kind of make it look like it's sand by using this orange. So as I go along and as I paint this bottom area, what I'm really going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got enough color on there. Now the more water you have, the better. So as you're painting along and you're kind of having as much water on your paintbrush as possible, you're going to get more color. Now for the background, I'm going to choose purple. And this time, you know what? I'm just going to add an extra drop. So this one gets 4 drops because I have a wider area to cover. The background is a lot of negative space that goes all the way around the cactus. all the way around the ground, all the way around my trapezoid. So I'm going to apply it. And again, you can choose any color you want. You can choose the yellow or maybe the red. I would like to see all of my wonderful artists creating a watercolor cactus work of art, and for all of them to be a little bit different. Now, as I apply this, I do want to mention that after you are done, let your painting dry. And at that point, if you want to add some extra interesting details, like maybe your cactus has a little tiny top hat, or maybe you want to add some extra shapes like swirls and stars into the background where the purple is, wait till it dries, go back in with a crayon and add some extra details. In fact, once it's dry, you can even use things like colored pencils or markers, whatever it is that you want to do. Just wait till it's dry. And there you have it. You have this wonderful work of art that is a resist where you added your crayon and your design stayed safe even though we went back over them with water. Here's the dried version, and you can see that the blue triangles are right where they're supposed to be. Go ahead and take a picture, upload this to Schoology, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.